Hello, welcome back to another Tabletop Talk. Today we have our yearly Stratomatic opening day for me. This year they had the regular opening day in New York, which I would have loved to have attended, have never been to one, and probably never will be able to. I just live so far away, it just doesn't make sense. Would have liked to, to catch Hal while he's still with us, and but I will have to settle for the mailman bringing the opening day to me. So this is my opening day, which is still exciting and still a lot of fun. So I thought I would share it with you guys. I know 1976 was the release this year, and I know Al Red Sox fan has got his and put a couple games up, as has Sportsman Z. So it was really cool to see that set on those channels and on the table. And 76 is a great set for me. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I did not have a 76 set, and thankfully never purchased one. And so I was very, very tickled to get this. Looking forward to it. And I also got another item in here as well. So let me get my knife. I forgot to get it out. Oop, hit the camera. Let's see, excuse me just a sec. Okay, there we go. All right. So again, we obviously know what part of this is. The 76 set. And I think I mentioned elsewhere what else I got, which is something a little different for me. We'll talk about that just a little. Okay. Always fun to get stuff. I throw these away. I mentioned in another video that I had purchased a out-of-print set, and it was in great shape except for rubber band damage. So if you guys care anything about your sets, don't use the rubber bands. The coin envelopes, number 6 or number 7. 7 is the bigger one. So if you have, I know like in 2019, they printed a lot of picture cards, so there was a lot of cards in the set. I would imagine 2022, there's a lot more cards than there would be, say, in 1962. So if there's a lot of cards in each team, then you probably want to go with the number 7. If it's not too many cards, the number 6 works just great. And speaking of which, I have I've got printed these up myself, so I've got my 76 set all ready to roll. So it's cool. Now these are number 6, so I didn't expect the 76 set to have too many cards. So again, if there's a ton, I'd say if you're getting 30 or more, you might want to consider the number 7. But anyway, right there on top, you can see what my unusual thing is. So I've never bought a Major League Diamond Gems. I do have the Negro League Diamond Gems A and B, and I prefer seasons. And so unfortunately, you can't get any seasons carded for Negro Leagues, so that's the reason I went with what I could get, and that's the Diamond Gem. So the 1940s set, the reason I got it was kind of for the same reason, is that there was 4 of the 8 teams they've never made season cards for, which would be 1940, 1946. And so they have the World Series participants in those 2 years, and then they also have 48 and 41, which I do have. And I'm going to, again, having never bought Major League Diamond Gems, I'm going to compare these sets with what I have in my regular set. So you can see here, I've got this is from the season. So 41 Dodgers, 41 Yankees, the 48 Braves, and the 48 Indians. So I'm going to compare these with the Diamond Gems. Just was curious if they have the exact same cards, the same amount of cards. So before we finish the video, I will kind of compare that, because I was curious. So You get the little booklet here, which is kind of reminiscent of Replay's yearbooks, which are just fantastic, Replay Baseball. So I'm a little familiar with this with the Negro League set, so it kind of gives you a little synopsis of the team, the players that are carded, lineups, the ballpark, which is kind of cool. So obviously, again, 1940 has never been done by Stratomatic. Hopefully, this is a precursor of things to come. 40 would be great. 39 would be awesome. So anyway, like I said, 4 of the 8 teams in this set have never been carded, at least in a season. So 46 would be a great year. They did come out with 47 last year, which is a wonderful set. I doubt that they'll do 46 anytime soon, but 46, the first year after the war, and all the at least most of the players are back in business after doing the nastiness of war. And so 46, there's actually a book called The Victory Season, which is a really good book about that season. So again, 48. So a lot of people was hoping for like the Browns. I think 44 is the only year. So I was a little disappointed as well. I was hoping to have more of the teams that aren't carded. They've never done 44 or 45, obviously, or 42 for that matter. So instead of doing 41 and 48, which they have seasons for, and I'm pretty sure those seasons are still available for sale on Strat's website, I would have loved to seen them do, seasons that they've never done. Again, like 42, 1944, 45. But anyway, 4 out of 8's not bad. It was enough to warrant me getting it. So again, I will be looking at that a little bit more. I also did my envelopes for that set too, so got that ready to roll. Again, we'll do a little comparison. And then I also got the 1976 set. Again, very excited about this set. I would say last year was 47 and 86, both excellent choices for me. I would say 76 is right up there with them. If I had to pick of those 3 that have come out the last couple of years, which one I would prefer, that would be tough to do, because all 3 of those sets are, in my opinion, just fantastic and good choices that worked out great for me. So as you can see there, we've got our good card stock. Again, sometimes when you order seasons that's been around a long, you'll get copies of a copy of a copy, and they look pretty crappy. But this one is brand new and centered and good card stock. And then you got your roster sheets, which I like to have for every season, part of the Stratomatic experience. And then they give you the pitchers here, who have pitchers are rated 10 on speed, unless they have an extra number here. So again, 76, fantastic set, and really looking forward to adding that to the collection and getting some games in. So again, I'm doing a 1961 Cincinnati Reds replay, which I'm working really hard on. Again, I want to get something completed, but still, I don't like to play more than a game or 2 a day with that, and so I like extra things to do. So I'm thinking of redoing, I don't typically do this, but redoing the World Series in 1940 or 46, either one of those. I know that the Red Sox, I think that was Ted Williams' only World Series, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe that was his only World Series. And obviously the Cardinals were able to prevail over the Red Sox in that one. I believe that was Enos Slaughter's mad dash or mad run, and he made it from third on a single or something crazy like that. But again, so I'm going to pause the video for just a second, and I'm going to, put these out and compare the 41 and the 48 with what's in the season set. So let me actually, if I can think of something to say while I'm doing this, I might go ahead and talk a little bit. If I run out of something to say, I'll go ahead and pause the video. I don't think nobody wants to sit and watch me open cards, but maybe they do. I know that most of us enjoy pretty much everything that goes along with these. And I think, you know, you see on Facebook and on Delphi Forum, everybody's pretty excited about getting their new sets every year. And, you know, their opening day, I'm sure a lot of us would love to make the Mecca to New York. And, you know, just because of the distance that we live and, you know, trying to get off work and all that, it's just not feasible. Don't want to tear the cards. So they also said this year that the cards are an improved stock. What I've heard is that I can't remember the fella's name, but he actually got a caliper out and measured, and they were a little thicker. But I think what most people are saying that the biggest difference is that they're a little slicker. When you get a new set of cards and you put them in the teams, they kind of stick together. And so some have said that perhaps the paper is a little more glossy and that it makes it a little easier to, you know, to pull the cards apart while you're playing. I don't know if that would apply to the Diamond Gems or not. I would assume it would be everything that they are, you know, printing at this point, but maybe not. So, you know, it might feel a little bit glossier. You know, I don't know for sure. You know how your brain can trick you. So I do know the font's different. It looks like that the outs are kind of the same, perhaps, but the singles and doubles and walks looks like it's a different font. And I think the name, at least on the basic side, looks a little different. The name on the back looks kind of the same to me, but there is something different about the font. So anyway, let's go ahead and, like I said, let's do one of the teams that I was going to compare. So let's get to 41 here. Here we go. So that's the 40 Reds and Tigers. So that, again, I think I'm going to do a World Series replay on that one. So let's see. So I try to do 2 sheets at a time. One good thing about Strat is I much prefer replays already pre-cut cards, but I will say that Strats rip really easy. I've never had, and knock on wood, I've never had an issue where I've accidentally tore a card. So they're perforated, you know, very good. And another thing I like is that they don't have the little white boogers all over the place. There's a few game companies, when you tear them apart, you got the little white boogers everywhere. So I will say, even though I prefer pre-cut, it's nice that Strat, again, they're perforated very good, so you're not ripping your cards, and you don't get those little white boogers everywhere. So again, I found that I can do two sheets at once without doing any damage. I imagine any more than that would be a little risky. So actually it looks like New York starts on that sheet. So it looks like we got Brooklyn. So that one I'm going to have to do one sheet because it's not all Brooklyn. So I don't know if this is entertaining or not. So if you want to fast forward it, feel free. So again, you got Brooklyn, then starting New York there. Looks like they still bow like they always do. When you're pulling them apart, you'll get that where they'll start to bow a little bit on you. I think if they were a little thicker that they probably wouldn't do that. But let's see, is all this New York? Looks like it is. So it might be fun to replay the 41. Again, I have the 1941 season, so I suppose I could have done this before now. But, it's always, I've always thought it would be fun to replay, one of Brooklyn's. They lost so many times to the Yankees and I think the Indians in 20 before they finally beat them in 55. So it would be fun to, maybe start with all the Brooklyn World Series and see if you could win one before 1955. That would be a fun project. So we got, looks like you got Boston starting there. Okay, So they do have the gray printing. I think that's pretty much their standard format now, which I prefer to the blue. And the back, like I said, is pretty much, it looks the same since when they went to this originally in 86 or maybe 87. So again, that 46 World Series team, that'll be kind of fun because again, they've never done 46. I think there's a Yankee in there. There is. And I think all of these are Yankees. They are. So let's start with those two. Let's see. So we got the 1941 Brooklyn Dodgers, and again, this is from the season set. So you can see that they were blue. Let's see how many cards we got first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, so 24 cards, looks like, which is kind of light. It is 1941. So let's see how many we have here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2. So you got the same amount of cards. Now I do know 1941 was done a few years ago. It seems like the ones that they're doing now have more players in it. Like, for example, the 1976 set or even the 1947 set. Because it was just done last year. And again, I haven't proven this, but I believe it's true that they have more players per team. The more current the rendition of the year is. So 41, it's been done a while ago. I could look it up, but that could be, why they're different. Why there's only 24 players. So let's look at a card. So we got Cookie Lavagetto there. Let's see what his card looks like. Find him. Now, obviously the color will be different. The blue. So interesting. They give Cookie Lavagetto a 3, and here they give him a 2 on the basic side. His running is the same, and the card is actually different. It's laid out different where the walks are not in the same spot. So interesting. And that would be the same for the so on the Diamond Gem, he's a 230 at third, and on the season card, he is a 229. His bunting and hit and run are the same. His running is the same. His power rating is the same, but the card is completely different. So I do know that there's a computer version of this, of the season replay, that they don't do computer versions of the Diamond Gems, as I understand it. So, but that's interesting. I was kind of expecting them to match for some reason. Like the home runs would be in the same spot, but they're not. And the ratings are a little different. So his basic steal rating is C, so that's the same for both. So interesting. It's kind of you notice they do 41 Brooklyn here, and here they do 41 in the batting record. They don't do 41 in the batting record there. So I don't know if that makes much difference, but it's interesting that the 41 component is in different spots. So let's see. Look at one more here real quick. I want to look at the Yankees and just see if. Actually, I tell you what. Let's do a different year. If we're going to do one more, Let's look at a 48. Let's look at the 48 Indians and see what they got going on. Throw these rubber bands away as I don't need them. All right, so let's put Indians aside. Let's put the Yankees aside. Let's find the 48 Indians. Like I said, just try a different year. I think 48 is pretty old too, but I think it's been done more recent than the 41 has. So it looks like that's 48 Boston. Yeah, we can do Boston. I don't think it matters. All right, so we got see what the Braves got. See if they've got the same amount of players. So it looks like most of this is Boston, except for 4. Those are the Cardinals. We'll put them out of the way. So that's Boston, Boston, Boston. And those are all Boston. I guess I could have counted them before I cut them up. That might have been easier, but what would have been the fun of that? And looks like all of these are Boston, and you got 2 Bostons on the next sheet. I need some theme music or something, some elevator music. All right, we'll get these last 2 guys here on this sheet. The rest of those are Cleveland. Okay. So, Boston, we got 1. I always put my pitchers at the bottom of the stack and the position players on top. So, as I'm organizing them, I kind of do that. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So it looks like the 24 is pretty standard, I'm guessing. And when you're doing, like Diamond Gems, obviously you're not doing a season replay, so you just need the main players. Still seems like you could have at least done 25, so you could get a full roster. I assume that was the roster size back then. So, again, let's look at the 48 Braves and see if they've got any more than that. So that may be the same. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, so it's the same. So, again, if they had done a 47 team, I'm just wondering, if they would be more players in the 47, because again, that season has been recreated, as of late, and they seem to have more cards, more players carded per team in those sets. So, all right, I'm gonna make sure I don't get my cards mixed up here. So anyway. Again, I got four teams, that I don't have, and they're both the World Series, so I can replay the World Series. I think that's kind of why they did that. All 8 teams in this set, are basically 4 World Series teams, so you can just replay 4 World Series if you want. And again, I didn't need 41 and 48, but I have them, and hopefully they'll get to 1940. That would be an awesome set. I'd say probably 70 or 74 or maybe 79. Those are really high on what I think they might be doing next. I had one guy comment that he thinks that what they're doing, more than doing a complete new season like they did with 47, they're focusing more on redoing seasons that have just advanced. So 1930, 1950, they did those in advance. Again, 70, 74, 81, 83, and 84. I believe Super Advanced kicked in 85, even though they didn't have, I don't believe they have the ballparks at that point, but I believe the Super Advanced started in 85. Because I remember, again, I started playing Strat in 84 with the 83 set, and I remember when they came out with the in 85 with the new stolen base, where you got whether you get a lead, and if so, you get that number. If you don't get a lead, it's that number. If you do get a lead, you have to steal. I remember them coming without an 85, and I really like that edition. So again, all those seasons that I've mentioned that haven't been done in Super Advanced, any of those could be the next culprit. So I was kind of hoping they would have some more surprises throughout the year. Again, the last couple of years, they've there for a while, they were coming out with a reprinted season about once a month, and that was really cool and exciting. I was able to really help my collection with that, and so they haven't been doing that in a while. And I think they did mention maybe some more bonuses or surprises. So hopefully, we'll get some. We won't have to wait till this time next year to get another set or two. But if that is the case, we've got plenty to play, and it's fun collecting and thinking and wishing for certain sets. But so anyway, there you have my opening day 2023. Not as exciting as the one in Glen Head, but still a lot of fun for me. And again, I've seen on Facebook a lot of you all have got your sets and showing them off, and the excitement, and so it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a little bit like being a kid again, and we all enjoy this hobby, and it gives us a chance to kind of get away from the real world and having to be a grown up, and kind of going into our own little world and replaying some sports and things that we enjoy. So absolutely nothing wrong with that. A lot worse addictions to have. And so again, I'm thankful for the companies that put these things out, and glad that my favorite Strat is still going strong and still producing products, and APBA, and then we got a lot of these new great games. Replay's been around a while, but Replay and Pine Tar and Pocket Pennant, which is a newer one. Just lots of options, and great time to be in the hobby. And last thing I was talking about in one of the chats on YouTube, one of my YouTube videos, somebody had mentioned about how that back in '83 the sets were like $12 and then $2 for the extra players, and what a great time that was. And it was, but I commented back, I didn't have $12 to get another set, and he was the same way. He said, yeah, I played a selector set for 3 years or so before I was able to get my first season. So even though the prices were much cheaper than they are now, because last I looked, with shipping, a baseball season you're pushing $95, which is just crazy for a season. But the funny thing is that occasionally I have $95 to spend, whereas back in 1984, I didn't have $12, to get another season. So, perspective, it's all good. So anyway, I appreciate it very much. If you guys want to share in the comments, I always appreciate that, what you got this year, whether you picked up something that was already available, or whether you got obviously this year they had the black set, which I wasn't interested in, but The 400 copies they had sold out, and a lot of people seem to enjoy those. I still haven't seen anybody break out a set. I guess everybody's kind of afraid to open them, that they won't be worth anything. Again, I collect to play, so if it's not something I can play, I'm not interested in it. But if anybody has a picture of a set they've broken open and would like to show them, I don't know that I've seen one, so that would be kind of interesting. But anything else you picked up, any opening day, if anybody made opening day and you want to put a comment, that would be awesome. Again, I saw, I think it's Ultimate Strat Network. He did a pretty cool video of opening day and the Hall of Fame that they just created, a la ATBA. And so anyway, I always enjoy the interactions and appreciate the comments. And I will see you next time.